Today I'm going to be playing with some of the products from the latest release from Time for Tea Designs. It's a memory keeping release, but I'm going to show you how we could use some of those products to make cards. Hey crafty people, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. If you like the video, then please give me a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed, I'd love it if you'd consider hitting that button. And today I'm going to be making 2 cards but 3 backgrounds with the Solid Speech Bubbles stamp set. So I've got this is a 5 1/4 by 4. Yeah, 5 1/4 by 4 piece of this is Wow's Superior Smooth White cardstock. I've got that in my MISTI, and I'm just adding a bunch of these speech bubbles over the top. So I'm going to create 3 backgrounds without moving those stamps at all. So I'm inking up really well with the Wow Ultra Slow Dry embossing pad. These are solid stamps, so you do want to make sure that you are really getting a good impression. I actually stamped them twice for each background, especially when you're doing embossing, because I wanted a full coverage. So this is the White Ultra High. So the first background is just going to be a really understated tone on tone background. You might not see that much in photos, but you can see it when you've got the card in your hands, and it just gives a little bit of interest to the background without taking over it. So I'm just going to do the exact same again, stamp it twice onto the same size and type of cardstock, but this time I'm going to be using the Black Twinkle embossing glitter. And yeah, this one the last one was understated. This is definitely not. So it's glitzy, it's beautiful, I love it. So I'm just tipping that all over. You want to make sure with embossing glitters that you give them a really good shake before you use them. And then I've got here a panel of, this is some red cardstock that I had in my stash, and I'm going to add clear embossing powder to that. So it's just you're going to see the red cardstock, but as you can see from where it's stamped, the embossing ink does leave, it's like a watermark effect on your cardstock, so it does make that part where it's been stamped, it does make that a little bit darker. So here we're going to start heating them up. So I have my Wow Dual Speed heat gun, I've got it on setting 2, and I've heated it up really well before I started. And then I'm going to heat these from behind. I did make a little bit of a mistake and start to heat this one from the front, forgetting that it was the Ultra High, and it just blew some of the bits off. So I've got a couple of bits of embossing where I didn't intend to get them, but it's fine, you won't see it by the time we finish the card. So I learnt my lesson and remembered to do it from behind. I left the heating in the embossing because I just think it's so magical. I love watching it. You see what I mean? How it's still the same colour cardstock, but it is a darker version, and obviously it's nice and glossy, and yeah, I love this look. So as I said, these are from the Memory Keeping collection, and you may hear that or see that and think, oh, that's not what I do, but you can still use these things to make cards, and I think that stretching yourself to use different supplies than you'd normally go for is a really fun way of exploring our own creativity. So I'm heating the Black Twinkle up from behind, and I quite often get asked, how do I know when the embossing glitters are fully embossed? And hopefully you can see there that it does change as it's being heated. So I'm going to be doing some emboss resist on this red panel. And all that means is that I'm going to add some ink blending over the top, and that where that embossing is, that's going to resist the ink. So we're going to just be able to just wipe that off. So I've added a couple of different reds, just making it darker around the edges. And then I've just grabbed a dry, clean cloth, and I'm just buffing that ink off those embossed speech bubbles. I ran out of time to make that on a card, but I will do. So this is the tone on tone background, and here I cut 2 tags from the new die set, one in vellum and one from cardstock that I'd stamped with grey speech bubbles, and then I've just added them together with a bit of some black and white string. I've made a sentiment up myself using the puffy alpha stickers that are in the Memory Keeping collection, and then I've also added a couple of the coffee cups that were in the last release. Let's catch up. And I think that that's a really fun way to use those alpha stickers. I had so much fun making my own sentiments, which, yeah, is all good fun. So I wanted a background to layer that white embossed panel on. So I just grabbed one of the blues that I'd used to colour the tops of those coffee cups, and just went round the outside of the cardstock sheet, just to give me a coordinating sheet, which is fun. And you don't need to do the whole thing because most of it is going to be covered. So I'm then adding the embossed panel on with some double-sided tape, and then I'm going to stick that tag with my coffee cups on over the top. So I've purposely offset the vellum and the cardstock tag just for a little interest, and that stamped grey on white background, that's using the same solid speech bubbles that we've used for the embossing one. It's just instead of embossing it, I used a couple of different greys. I added a few of the little enamel dots as well. There was a little bit of double-sided tape sticking out the bottom there, so I was just making sure that was pushed under. And then, yeah, I added a couple of the enamel dots from one of the new sets, just as a little accent. So to keep my string in place and to stop it from annoying the recipient, I've just added a little bit of glue and then put those strings in the place. Then I've added a little bit more glue over the top and just sort of push that in with my thumb. And then I'm going to grab one of my reverse action tweezers. These ones are really good for getting, basically for that. So I'm going to leave that to dry. So from the same grey on white stamped background that I used in the last card, I cut the Polaroid picture shape, and I've just used that as a little background for some fun images from one of the stamp sets from the last release. So I will have all of these linked below. I just added that black and white sparkly background onto some blue cardstock that I had in my stash. This is just really thin cardstock. I wouldn't use it for anything else, but it works for this. And then my little doggy has a space. I think that's really cute. I used some foam adhesive behind the little elements and had them coming out from the picture, just for a little bit of extra interest. And then again, I'm using the puffy stickers to create my own sentiments. So I've got hey down the bottom there, in the blue ones, and then I thought it would be really cute, because I've got the space up here. I thought it'd be really cute for the doggy to be saying woof, like the dog's saying hey, and then underneath is the translation of what the dog's saying. I just thought that was really cute. So I hope that gives you some ideas as to how you could use the memory keeping collection in your card making. I hope that you like the cards. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment in the box below. And if you aren't already subscribed to our channel, then please do consider it. We share a lot of really great inspiration every week. I hope that you have a lovely, happy, safe, and wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye.